Hello and welcome back to my channel. I haven't filmed in quite a long time. I did, on my last video, I actually did a poem, which was kind of like a micro project, and it was for a drama society at university, and I was just like, what the heck? I'm just gonna write a poem, I'm gonna make like a little video of it. So if you haven't seen it, it looks like this, and I'll probably put the cue card up, I don't know which direction it is, somewhere on here, so do have a listen to it. It's very short, it's only like just a minute and so. It's quite a personal poem, quite close to my heart, but I really enjoyed it. Anyway, today I've been, oops, I think I just dropped something. So I've been kind of like thinking, what am I going to do for my next video, because I kind of feel like I'm moving into a kind of different scope of what I thought my YouTube channel would be. I thought my YouTube channel would just be the classic blog thing. Now I'm like, I kind of enjoy doing creative challenges and just kind of putting my creative stuff out there. Personally, my two favourite videos of my YouTube channel is 0532 and Sourhead, a Poem of Memory, and those were both very much like just raw, like nature, poetry, just kind of using the beauty of the world, and they're very short, and they're my favourite videos because there's something a bit different. I want it to be a hub of where I just show my creativity, really. But also what's really weird is that the videos that have like the biggest views on my channel are just the ones that I sit down and chat, and I hate editing chatty videos because no one in their right mind wants to sit down and just watch an hour-long video of just yourself talking. It is the most boring thing in the world to sit down and edit, but apparently that's what people like. Anyway, today's going to be a chatty video, but I'm also going to be doing my makeup at the same time because, yeah, I don't really have any explanation for it. I'm going to be doing my makeup and chatting about online teaching and my general kind of current uni feelings. So, cue the intro card and let's get on with the video. Okay, so before we start, I'm wearing Molten Metal nail paint in Bronze Bay. This is another Barry M. I always talk about Barry M. I love Barry M. They're a really good set of nail polishes. I'm going to put my second coat on tonight, but otherwise it will just be, you know, I just don't really want to have to wait any longer. I need to get on with my makeup and then I need to go to the library and blah blah blah. But quickly, just before I get on with my makeup again, something about nails. I bought these and I literally took them off yesterday. They're called Elegant Touch London Instant Nails Pre-Glued Mani, and this is what they looked like there. And I wore them and I think they stayed on for like 10 days. Which, for the fact that they are literally like, you don't have to put on any glue, you just stamp them down and you hold them. It's amazing. I couldn't do some things, like washing up was a struggle, and opening up a can was not my favourite. But, you know, I have people in my house to do that for me. I'm joking. I'm just going to get on with my makeup. I'm just going to do my makeup and just kind of chat about online teaching and what it's like at uni at the moment and all that kind of jazz. I need my mirror. I don't know where it is. Oh Louise, why are you like this? Why, yeah, you got it. So if you didn't know, I go to Birmingham University. If you're not from the UK, our government has just released this new tiered scheme, and it goes tiers 1 to 3, and 3 is like the most extreme, where it's basically locked down. Tier 1 is just general kind of rules and just safety. Tier 2 is kind of the in-between. So this means that we're allowed to meet up with people in our gardens, which is great. So we bought a fire pit as a house, which is really exciting. We're allowed to meet up outside, but not inside with anyone who's not in our household. We can only meet up to 6 people. So it essentially makes uni quite difficult, was the socialising aspect of uni, but also, and the whole working side as well. So yeah, I think we're going into week 4, so it's, you know, I've been at uni for a month now. I expected myself to be on campus a lot more, but the fact of the matter is I'm living with 6 other people and everyone has a different degree, which means that everyone is in contact with different people at different times. And so, you know, we have kind of been in and out of self-isolation, as many people have been at university. And just to clarify, this is not me ranting at all. This is more me just saying the truth. And the thing is that like going in and out of self-isolation, like it happens. It's not one of those things that like you can get angry at, because it happens to everyone, and it's just, you're in a town, you're at university, you're with students, you're going around, and you know, before this tier system, and we were going to the pubs and things, of course we were, you know, so it's just one of those things that it's like you can't help it, that, you know, you're going in and out of self-isolation. So there's a lot of time spent here and for me literally in the seat. I actually haven't had an in-person seminar for one of my modules, and this is just because of various different things, you know, illness and self-isolation and different rules and things like that. So I literally have had 3 in-person seminars, and it's nice to be with people, but it doesn't feel the same because you're literally sitting apart from everyone, and like wearing a mask for, you know, 2 hours, it's really stifling. And I don't have claustrophobia, I don't have a breathing problem or anything like that. So I sympathise so much with anyone who, you know, struggles with that kind of thing. Also, mask me is such a thing. I honestly have had the worst breakout of my life, and I honestly look like I'm 15 again, and I think it's a combination of being inside all the time, wearing a mask, not really getting like much exercise. I'm not really going out of my house. I mean, at times I can't. So anyway, I have ordered a tea tree oil for my skin. I'd run out of this concealer, which is the Lasting Perfection concealer, which is so ironic because look, it doesn't even last. But they've changed the packaging, and it looks like this. Is it gonna focus? I don't know. It is so bougie, and it's now like, okay, no, it's plastic, but it looks bougie. And I swear they've changed the formula. The doe for applicator is so much nicer. I'm like, still same price. So good. Anyone should get it. Collection Lasting Perfection concealer. So I'm just going to be putting this under my eyes here. So with online teaching, like, we do things on Zoom, which when it works is great, and it's a great substitute. When it doesn't work, wow, this is so creepy, what the heck? When it doesn't work, it's the worst thing life could ever throw at you. And our Wi-Fi is not bad, but the thing is that when you're all in self-isolation, it then means that you could be having like simultaneously like 6 Zoom calls going on at a time. And Zoom takes up a lot of bandwidth because it's obviously video conference calling. And so it means that all of us, like at one point, I think there were 3 of us on a Zoom call at the same time. We were all being kicked out of the sessions, we were all freezing, and it was so difficult. I find Zoom calls stressful anyway. I don't really like them. I don't mind them with like family and friends because it's like, you know that they're just going to forgive you for like looking off into the distance. I find it so difficult when it's work-wise, and part of the reason I got the fake nails is because I was sitting in one of my first Zoom seminars, and I'm usually like in-person seminars, I'm always talking, I'm always the talker, I'm always like kind of giving my opinion and reaching out for the discussions and everything. Online, I was just frozen, and not because of my Wi-Fi, but because I was just so nervous. I just didn't like it, and so I ended up. I have really long nails usually. They are very short at the moment, and I just bit off all my fingernails out of like being nervous, and so then I bought the fake nails to like stop myself from biting them. And I do find myself like I had a dissertation meeting yesterday. And I was shaking, and I was like, this is like, I'm not a particularly nervous person. I mean, you know, like anyone, I have nerves and I have adrenaline rushes, but I'm not a nervous person, and especially not to do with work, or like sitting down and like having a meeting, because I'm usually quite prepared and like, you know, all that. It's a really difficult situation to be in on Zoom, because I feel like you're expected to keep looking at the other person. And like, that's not normal. It's not normal to just sit and look at someone for like half an hour, an hour. And when you're with people, you know, you don't just sit down and chat to them. You go off and do things. You go for a walk, or you go grab a coffee, and there's like normal silences and things like that. So I find Zoom calls very difficult and very, very emotionally and just tiring and draining. I also just get, screen fatigue is something that really happens. And I think my concentration levels on Zoom have been just awful. I honestly get about 20 minutes into a meeting and then I'm like, and it is so hard. And like, I have to lead quite a lot of meetings, so I know what it's like to lead a meeting and seeing people drop off. It's difficult and you need to keep people engaged, but at the same time you need to get through things. But then online it takes longer and it's just, Anyway, so past all the ranting, we're going to just skip all that ranting now, and I'm going to tell you some things that have helped me with Zoom or with online learning, online teaching, online seminars, whatever it may be. So my first thing that I did, I think I just ate some of the powder. Thank God I'm not dramatic. Right, so as I was saying, one of the first things that I did that really helped me with staying concentrated and all that Zoom kind of thing is to hide self-view. There is a little button on Zoom that you can click and it says hide self-view. Best thing ever. It means you're then not critiquing yourself. It then means that you're not focusing on yourself, because of course you're going to be looking at yourself when you're on Zoom, because of course you're going to be looking at, am I making the right facial expressions? Do I look okay? How's my background? Am I washed out? Another really useful thing I find is putting it on speaker view. And this means that you focus on one person. Again, there's like a little button up at the top that you can change. Really useful. Another thing that I have done is that, and I know this is not going to work for everyone, but if you are someone who does work with writing notes and you are someone who does work with reading things on paper rather than on a screen, I have got all my notes for all my modules on in a notebook. So let me just show you my notebooks. This is for one of my modules. This is Remembering World War I. And I open it up and I've got my contents page, and then I write the page numbers at the bottom here. And I write everything. I write all my notes, and I've got tabs here for all the weeks. And firstly, this is very aesthetically pleasing, and I love looking at it. And I'm like, and I've got like a different colour combination for each of my modules, because I'm that kind of person. When you write things down, it firstly takes you away from the screen, because screen fatigue, getting too much time on the screen is not good for you. And also, I've been getting really bad headaches from being on the screen all the time. Whereas if I'm reading something or watching a video, listening to a lecture or whatever that's online, writing it down means I am at least taking my eyes away from a screen, even if it's just for a little bit. I love the way it's winter and I still put on bronzer. Another thing that I know a lot of people have found is that obviously we're working at home, and so distractions are rife. And I would always work in a study space on campus, so I'd always have working people around me, so I would literally sit and do work for hours on end, and I could do that. I now can't do that. Firstly, I have a whopping great window in front of me with people walking by every single second, and emergency services going by, and cars, and bikes, and electric scooters. So of course, I'm going to look up and go,
I wonder what's happening.
On top of that, I have my bed just there. I can lie on it if I want. But I have decided to keep boundaries. And the ways that I am doing that is I'm banning myself from getting in my bed at particular times. I know that sounds crazy. So literally, I'm like 9 until 6, I am not allowed in my bed. And that has allowed me to create boundaries and realize 9 till 6 are the times I need to be up. I need to be out of bed. I need to be doing work. I need to be doing something other than lying in bed. Otherwise, I will literally stay in bed all the time. And I know that probably sounds a little bit crazy, but when you're working from home, you have to create those kind of boundaries. And I know as a student, your room, your workspace are exactly the same thing. Another thing I do to differentiate myself is I sometimes just move my desk. I literally just move my desk to a different position and I work there for a bit to just feel like I'm at a different place. Or I go and work in someone else's room, or I work in the living room. And I try and do that around my house. And I know it's really difficult and not everyone has the luxury of being able to do that. But if you can, if you've got a housemate and you're both getting sick of your own room, be like, do you want to swap rooms for a bit? Literally, it helps. But one thing that I found really, really useful is actually just setting timers. And I know all of this, the thing is, when I say all of this, it sounds like I'm being really draconian with myself. But I think it's more just about creating a healthy balance, and procrastinating is so easy at home. And especially since we've had such a long time off. So what I tend to do is that if I know I'm really struggling to get through an article, or I need to close analyze a poem or something like that, then I will literally be like, okay, I'm going to put 30 minutes on the timer, and I have to work for that 30 minutes. I'm not allowed to go on my app, like my phone or any of the apps, and I just have to work. And that's how I do it, and it really helps. And then I give myself a 5-minute break. I can go to the loo, I can make myself a cup of tea, I can just walk around, I can chat to a friend, whatever it may be. And it just creates a balance. I know also another one of my friends, she has something called the Forest app, which basically bans her from going onto her apps because, like, for the amount of time that she's not on her phone, it like creates a tree, builds a tree, grows a tree, builds a tree. Wow, Louise, wow. Ooh, do I want to put on eyeliner, or do I just stick or twist? Let's do it. Basically, those are my ideas. Those are my things that I do. Timers, changing your room around, giving yourself boundaries, that kind of thing. I'm such a mess. Okay, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do eyeliner while speaking, so I'm just going to do it and hope that it works. This is not as good as my usual wing. They're like nowhere near similar. Do you know what? Today, we are just gonna go with it. I've started my makeup now, I'm not gonna change it. Why did I do that? I even was like, maybe I should just... Yeah, I definitely think like creating boundaries is a good thing when it comes to sitting down and working in your house. And I know it's really difficult to sit down and work in your house and to stay focused and everything, but I think also having a routine really helps. But at the end of the day, this is the way that we're going, and if we're going to stay like this for a term, I was like, right, I need to intentionally use my time and try and figure out, how is this going to work? How am I going to be able to get through a whole term, if not more, of online teaching and let it work for me? I think also one of the things, my friend messaged me last night and was talking about how she was getting annoyed at herself for not being as productive as she was last year. And then she said, and I think this is so apt, I cannot judge my 2020 on the 2019 that I had last year. And I literally was like, what the heck? That is so true. Like, if you look back at yourself, like, I'm sure memories come up on Snapchat and Facebook and whatnot, and it shows you what you were doing this time last year. It is a complete world away. And so how can you compare yourself and your productivity and your work to then, when the whole world was in a completely different place? I found that this whole situation has taken up so much mental real estate, and it is difficult to differentiate sometimes from, I'm just going to enjoy my life and just get on with it, and I need to think about every single rule and make sure I'm following it, and make sure that I've got my mask and then I'm washing my hands and all that kind of thing. So I think it's learning about giving yourself a break and realizing that actually this year is going to be different. Your productivity is going to look different. Your work is going to look different. Your concentration levels are going to look different. And it's about embracing that and realizing, what can I do with, what's the best I can do with the worst situation, essentially. So with that being said, I am now going to go to my library. I've got my mask. This is my favourite mask for working. I really like it because the material is a little bit thinner, it's quite stretchy, it means it's got quite like a big thing at the front, which means I can actually breathe, and the ear like loops here are really like nicely made, so it means that it's not catching on my earrings, it's not hurting my ears, and it's just a bit nicer to wear. This is from Superdrug. I got this one from Superdrug. This was like £3. But if you are working in a library, if you are having to sit down for a really long time, I would definitely recommend these kind of stretchier, thinner masks. So I definitely look out in Superdrug for these. So I think I'm going to go to my library. I'm going to get some books. I'm going to do a little bit of work. And then I think I'm going to go buy some marshmallows and some chocolate biscuits. Because we're then going to have s'mores tonight. And it's the first night that we're going to be using our fire pit, and I'm really excited. So yeah, I hope you're staying safe. Follow the rules, follow whatever tier level you're on. I hope that something that I said hopefully helps you with working online. And if not, you've just heard me have a chatty, ruin my makeup day. Anyway, have a lovely time, and I'll see you next video, whatever that video may be. Bye!